I'm Barbara Collins and I'm Isaiah's mother. He's super smart, loves sports, football, very helpful, loves Fortnite. He's a great child, he's a great kid. They were outside playing with their friend. They were supposed to be playing tag. He got on his bike and drove around the block. He had fell off his bike and the car just smacked him. The first 72 hours were critical. It was really scary. The doctors tell me he might not make it. You don't want to hear it as a mother. He might not make it.
Isaiah sustained a really severe traumatic brain injury in an unfortunate accident. After sustaining that injury, he also had a lot of secondary injuries, including strokes. Once he was medically stable, he absolutely needed to come to rehab for intensive rehabilitation.
Me and Darnell have been friends for about 15 years now. He used to babysit Isaiah. He'll tell you he took his first steps in his house. I told him about Isaiah's accident and how he was gonna go to rehab. He told me Love had went to the Good Shepherd. I trust what he says, I trust his judgment, and I'm glad I did.
My wife and I have 7 kids. We found out we were pregnant with Love. We were on a Father's Day vacation in Ocean City. It was the night of Father's Day. So it was a really good gift that we weren't expecting. Her delivery was amazing. It was very quiet. Just my wife and I, very serene. That's why she's named Love. Everything, her name describes her entirely. Love was 10 weeks old. She was not gaining weight. She would spit up after every bottle. So we took her to her pediatrician. They changed her formula 2 or 3 times, sent us to the ENT, and they said she had a follicular cyst. Simple procedure. The cyst rested right at the base of her tongue. She'd be in there 2 days tops in the NICU, and that's not what happened. They came in and they told us that there was not a leak around her ventilation. Last resort was the tracheostomy.
After her acute care hospital stay, she came to rehab in order for their parents to get training on how to take care of a baby who has a tracheostomy.
Love thankfully didn't need any respiratory support or any ventilatory support, but she needed her family to be trained on her airway. And because she had been sick for so long, she had lost some skills from being acutely in the hospital. So here she benefited from all the therapies to help her get stronger, help her start eating again, and progress through normal developmental milestones while her parents learned the care of the tracheostomy.
As respiratory therapy, our major role is to train the parents to basically become respiratory therapists and to be able to manage her airway and take care of her once they get home.
She had some trouble with her feeding because her airway was different and she had to learn how to breathe and swallow in a different way. And her parents were great. They picked up right away. All we had to do was provide the education and kind of empower them.
They taught us everything we needed to know. Speech therapy taught us all the cues for her feeding. Physical therapy got us to work with her on sitting up and learning to crawl. And respiratory therapy taught us suctioning and listening for her lungs. And it's a lot, but they trained us 100%. We came home very confident.
The whole reason we do what we do here is to get children to be back to their baseline or a new baseline once they go home. When you get to see a little one who was here when she was only a couple months old and was just rolling and things like that, but you can see that she continued to develop and is now walking, and we just know that she's just going to continue to do great things as she grows.
If it wasn't for Good Shepherd, I don't think we would have been as comfortable bringing our daughter home. I don't think we would have been as prepared to care for her the way that we can care for her. Good Shepherd is top of the line, 100%. If anybody ever has a child that needs any kind of help, I would definitely recommend Good Shepherd. When we were in Good Shepherd is actually when Isaiah had gotten into the car accident. Having that support system when you have a medical tragedy going on in your life it's really crucial. And Barbara called us and she was explaining to us what was going on and that he actually had a tracheostomy for a short period of time. And I was telling her, like, the therapists here and the staff here are amazing. If you have to go to a rehabilitation, let me know, because you're gonna come to Good Shepherd. And probably 2 days later, she's like, we're coming to Good Shepherd.
At the time that he came to rehab, he was still largely comatose with very little interaction and no volitional movement. And our goals were to wake him up as much as he could, get him moving as much as he could, as much purposeful communication as possible. Though truthfully, in the early part of his admission, we were worried about what his future would look like.
I think about those early days. Like, I remember doing his initial evaluation, and he had some really significant deficits. He didn't have any movement in his legs. He was just starting to move his right arm a little bit and respond to a few simple commands, like he would smile on command or give a thumbs up. What was the most striking was how hard it was for him to tolerate movement.
For Isaiah, one of the big things that affected him was a loss of vision after his brain injury. So a big focus of ours was working on his ability to realize where his body is in space.
He made a fantastic recovery in terms of waking up and starting to communicate with us. Over a period of time, we were able to get him to start to eat, and he went through a lot of intensive physical and occupational therapy to regain his ability to sit and then use his arms and use his legs. He used our Trexo robotics and then progressed to treadmill training and progressed to walking.
When I think of Isaiah, the first word that comes to my mind is resilient. He had so many challenges coming in and challenges and curveballs that just kind of kept coming his way, but he rose and met each of those challenges with such strength and determination.
He's never negative. Never seen him cry, not one time. Never seen him depressed. Never. Never said I can't or I won't. Never said no.
Isaiah was a really great advocate for himself and was really along with us like the whole time, letting us know what help he needed and kind of helping us learn as he learned.
He walked out of there. They had him walking out of there like I couldn't even thank them enough for what they did for my son. They're very hands-on, and they were hands-on with me. They showed me how to do everything. Shower him, take him to the bathroom, put him in bed, get him dressed and stuff like that. They helped a lot.
Our job in rehab is really to prepare patients to go home, to go back to school, to be in the community, but also such a key component of rehab in general, especially pediatrics, is how do we prepare him for the future.
My hopes for Isaiah's future is to be himself, fulfill his dreams. I feel like he's gonna be something special. He's gonna be an amazing kid. He wants to be a YouTube star too.
Good Shepherd is the best place for pediatric rehabilitation because we not only have an incredibly dedicated, enthusiastic staff, but we're able to handle some of the most medically complex patients and help them wean from as much medical support as possible and help them achieve their best functional outcomes.
When a patient or family comes through our doors, our first question to them is what their goals are for their stay. What do they want to be able to do when they go home, or what do they want us to help them be able to accomplish? Their goals and dreams become our goals and dreams, and our families that come through the doors, they're going through what is likely going to be one of the worst times in their life. So being able to encourage them and help them think about the future when they're at a point when they're ready to think about that is so important.
I want to thank Good Shepherd for helping my son physically, mentally, emotionally. He worked hard. They helped him work hard, and they're just amazing people. I love Good Shepherd.
I would like to thank Good Shepherd for everything. Without Good Shepherd, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't have my daughter sitting in her room at home today. I wouldn't have my family back together. Thanks to Good Shepherd, I was able to go there, get trained, and bring my baby home happy and healthy.